Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The APC accuses the federal government of preparing to hand over a nation in crisis. President-elect Muhammadu Buhari says he will not appoint ministers who are nominees of serving governors. Fuel scarcity bites harder. Oil marketers refuse to lift fuel unless they're paid. And United States government condemns Iraqi army for allowing the Islamic State militants overrun the city of Ramadi. You can read up more on our top stories on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channels, where you can watch our videos. You can also visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We also encourage you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. A kidnapping may not be new in Nigeria, but in a state like Ekiti, kidnapping is a strange occurrence. In the last 24 hours, the police have, in an operation ordered by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, freed 11 persons kidnapped in the state. The victims, some of whom are in the hospital, are being debriefed by the police. To talk more about the rescue operation, our correspondent Linda Kigbe joins us from Abuja with the Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Ojukwu. Hi, Linda.
And thank you, Amarachi. Now, Mr. Ojukwu, thank you for joining with us on the news at 10.
Yes, my pleasure.
Now, the rescue of the victims followed the order by the Inspector General of Police. So how did this work out?
Well, you're aware the Nigerian police is concerned about issues of safety and security. Whenever lives and property are tampered with in any part of the country, it raises our antenna. And so the Nigerian police sent a crack team of police mobile force and some other operative detectives to Ekiti State to assist the local police in handling such the issue of kidnapping that suddenly raised its ugly head in that command. And so we worked in concert with other security agencies, law enforcement agencies, and the local vigilante, the people who know the terrain, and we're able to rescue these 10 Nigerians from the clutches of the evil ones. And that's what we have right now.
Now, 10 persons, including an 11-year-old boy, regained freedom, like you said.
Yes.
Now, most of them have been debriefed. So what did you get from the victims? What information were you able to glean from them?
Well, you know, these people were got from the bush, and they were traumatized, as expected. And some of them were in very bad states. They were taken to the hospital. We have spoken with many of them. We've gotten some information from them. And it may not be proper right now to disclose what we got from them. We have enough information that will help us to track the criminals and to bring them to justice. And then to also help us to prevent a recurrence of such an incident in Ekiti State and elsewhere in Nigeria.
Now, kidnappings are actually common in Nigeria, but all of a sudden we're seeing this, you know, a wave of kidnappings in Ekiti State. All of a sudden, what is responsible for this?
But kidnapping is not a new phenomenon in Nigeria. I think every community has a local word for kidnapping. It's been happening during the slave trade. People were kidnapped and sold. It's not kidnapping, for ransom, for whatever. And Ekiti has some political instability for some years. And you can't rule out the fact that, well, sociologists or criminologists may study the trend and tell us and give us information or some ideas as to why what is happening in Ekiti is happening right now. But we can hazard a guess that that instability and somebody may want to pay somebody. Somebody could be kidnapped for ransom, could be kidnapped for as a revenge to prove a point that can break your invincibility. Somebody could be kidnapped to embarrass government and to show that we also count. And we will not forget easily that we still have issue of light arms and small weapons in the hands of non-state actors in many parts of the country, Ekiti being a part of Nigeria. So we have such incidents. We have in Rivers, in Benue, in Ekiti. It could happen elsewhere. The thing is that Nigerian police were not closing our eyes to that incident. Wherever it rears its ugly head, we'll be there to handle it appropriately.
Now, the Ekiti State Governor recently sort of said that the wave of kidnappings might be traced to a jailbreak that occurred in 2014. Do you agree with this? Do you think this is also a factor to what we're seeing now in Ekiti State?
Many factors will come to play when you consider issue of kidnapping in Ekiti or elsewhere in Nigeria. Don't forget, kidnapping is a low-risk venture. Unlike armed robbery that they may get involved in a shootout with police. They just pick a victim, put in a vehicle, go to a place and begin to... People even kidnap themselves, or take a victim, keep in a hotel and give him good food. Both of you are enjoying food and you are making a call using GSM and taking a ransom.
But what of this jailbreak that the governor talked about?
You see, we must distance... It may not be safe to pin it to jailbreak. Jailbreak in Ekiti happened in 2014. A lot of water has passed under the bridge. There have been jailbreaks in some other parts of the country, particularly Kogi. And most of the people were rounded up, like that of Ekiti. A good number of them were arrested and returned to prison to face harsher punishment. So we may not be safe. I don't know where he got it first anyway. But for me as a police officer, we're interested in kidnapping as a malaise, as a problem in Nigeria, and how to solve it. And we're addressing it. The causes we are also addressing, but we're interested in making sure that it doesn't continue the way it's going and it doesn't go out of hand.
So, any tips to avoid for Nigerians to avoid falling into the hands of kidnappers?
Yeah, the trend we've noticed when we're trying to map the area and look at the trend, we've noticed that sometimes they go for aged women, maybe parents of influential persons to prove a point, maybe political actors, maybe to collect money. We look at that. We look at children in school age children. They are also victims. So it's important for parents to watch where their children are going and how they get there. If they are going to school, always watch your back. Watch your back. Know if a vehicle is trailing you. And if you have a gated environment, as you're getting to a place, maybe you should make your horn in good time so that the gate is open and you get access to your premises without so much waste of time at the gate.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ojukwu, for joining us on the news at 10. Now back to you, Amarachi.
Thanks a lot, Linda. Linda Akigbe, our correspondent in Abuja, has been speaking with beg your pardon, she's been speaking with the police commissioner, Mr. Emmanuel Ojukwu, on the recent kidnappings that have been taking place in Ekiti State and across the country, and as well as tips on avoiding kidnapping for as many Nigerians as can remember. Now, the Bureau for Public Procurement has led a team of new recruits into the Federal Civil Service to the Kuje Minimum Prison as part of efforts to reduce criminality in the system. Now, addressing journalists during the exercise, the Director for Finance and Management Services, Dr. Chris Iwagu, said the essence of bringing new employees into the prison is to show them how life is there, with a view to instilling discipline in them.
These are newly recruited staff into the Federal Civil Service. The Bureau of Public Procurement says their visit to the Kuje prison is part of their induction exercise. The overall objective is to expose the inductees to life in the prison yard with a view to instilling the need for diligence in the discharge of their duty.
We decided to take them to Kuje prison because they have to deal with where they take decisions that border on prevention of corruption and a kind of environment that exposes people to compromise. And this is why it is necessary to show them where people who compromise the procurement process and people who default and people who do criminal things end up. And that is Kuje prison. The essence is to ingrain in them that when they act or when they do their assignment, they should do it diligently and with all sense of impartiality, because if they corrupt the system and the law catches on them, they will end up in Kuje prison. That is just the essence of the exercise.
The Bureau of Public Procurement also confirmed that this routine practice has helped to reduce criminality in the system.
I don't want to be here, whatever it means. I don't think you want to be here. So once I know that if I make a mistake, I end up being in a place like this, I think I need to do my job right. It's unfortunate if we still have people doing it wrongly.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Controller of Prison, Mr. Musa Tanko, decried the congestion in the prison.
Our prison has a capacity of managing 560, but because of the increase in the volume of crimes generally in Nigeria, so you can see our number today is 800, is up to 852. So we are somehow overcrowded, but I want to assure you that the federal government, especially the FCT here, the CJ and all others, if I right from Control General, they have written to them, to the justice section, to please see what they can do to decongest this prison.
Although the prison has a capacity for 500, there are over 800 inmates here. Out of this number, only 142 are convicted. The remaining 695 inmates are awaiting trial. The lesson for the inductees from here is that they should desist from criminality if they do not want to be part of those overcrowding the Nigerian prison.
Residents of Okeoko Sekoni community of Iwekoro local government area of Ogun State are under threat by the activities of Lafarge Wapco Cement Company. Their homes, farms and health have so far been affected by quarrying activities carried out by the cement factory. The company, on the other hand, insists it acquired the land from the then Western Region government, but it is willing to relocate the residents to another location. A special report examines the plight of the over 1,000 residents of Okeoko Sekoni who insist that they must be rehabilitated along with their deities.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Having successfully completed a consolidation exercise of its operations in Nigeria and a combination of its South Africa operations, Lafarge Africa plc is here to present its financial records to shareholders and the public. The chairman of the company, Chief Olusegun Osunkeye, CON, who retires after this AGM, takes charge of proceedings.
I therefore now declare the meeting open.
The records look good, with a 4% growth in turnover and 16% growth in profit, despite the volatile business environment, much to the delight of shareholders.
Their shares are appreciating at the stock exchange compared to what is going on formally.
The dividend, is higher than last year. Last year we got about 330, and this year 360. That's improvement.
We have basically doubled the turnover in the new Lafarge Africa group. So we are a 200 billion company. We generated 50 billion of cash from existing operation, which is also why we could give a dividend in the range of 16 billion.
The outgoing chairman and his successor are optimistic of the future of the business.
The legacy of the good board and management, good products is what I'm leaving behind. The board is a solid board made up of experienced people who are committed to the progress of the company. They are people of experience and they are people of integrity. Now the management is hard-working management. They have produced the good results we have today. We now have an array of products, so the future is sound.
It will be a responsible business investing in Nigeria and Africa, creating value first and foremost for our shareholders, creating value for the communities in which we serve, creating value ultimately for our customers and all other stakeholders.
We are expanding our business in the south today, in the north, and so we're able to really provide solutions and building products for all the customers in Nigeria.
For the company, the medium to long-term outlook remains positive as it expects the GDP growth to improve in 2015, plus the advantages of having added Lafarge South Africa to the group. Henry Ogunjimi, Channels Television News.
Etisala, now you're talking.
One of Nigeria's foremost dairy products, peak milk, now wears a new look. At the official unveiling of the new look in Lagos, Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria PLC, makers of peak milk, say their success in the last 60 years in Nigeria can be attributed to their customers' unflinching loyalty to the brand. This performance is just a part of the main reason for this gathering, which is the celebration of 60 years of peak milk's existence in Nigeria. The management of the company says its success lies in nourishing Nigerians.
We recognize that we need to stay modern and contemporary, and we always want to address our consumer needs. There was an opportunity to be even more accessible and convenient to consumers today. Consumers have a very busy lifestyle. Their needs are changing, and we listen to those needs.
This success story, the company recalls, has sustained them through thick and thin.
Peak has gone through tough times when the country went through, but Peak never compromised on its love for its people and a compromise on its quality.
Consumers of peak milk also have a good story about their loyalty to tell.
I started taking peak milk when I was so young. In fact, my mom introduced me to it, and when I grew up, I continued with it. And as we see, there are a lot of products in the market, but peak remains the best. That's the truth.
I serve my family with peak milk because it nourishes the body every day. Even this morning, that's what we took in our families. So I like peak.
A beneficiary of Friesland's corporate social responsibility project, who rose to fame on the Peak Talent Show, singer Yemi Alade, is also here to spice in the occasion. Nourishing Nigerians is what Friesland Campina Wamco has been doing since 1955, and the management of the company promises consumers they will continue to do so. When the News at 10 returns, an art review tonight, an exhibition by George Igodalo features over 20 works of art on different media. Please join us again.